And it's showtime. We are live with another episode of the Embracing Joy podcast, where we help high achieving professionals embrace joy. And I'm so excited for our special guest that we have today, Dr. Una, and the topic as well, which is comparison is a thief of joy. Let me tell you all a little bit about Dr. Una. She's done even more than this, but her bio, but we'll go with her bio that she sent. She's the founder of EntreMD, a company on a mission to help 100,000 physicians build profitable seven plus figure businesses so that they can have the freedom to live life and practice medicine on their terms. She does that through the EntreMD Business School. It's the only one of its school of its kind for physician entrepreneurs. She also has the EntreMD Podcast, which is a top 1% podcast, and she has multiple best-selling books. Dr. Una is fondly called, as she is fondly called, has also been featured on Forbes, and her company hit number 315 on the Inc. 5000 list of fastest growing privately held companies in America. She's a board certified pediatrician and she resides just outside Atlanta with her husband and four children. Wow. She's just accomplished so much. So it's just an honor to have her here. And she's helping so many physicians, over 100,000 physicians. And so we usually start with a short game, which is called a convergence game, where you say the first word that comes to mind, and I say the first word that comes to mind, and we see if we can connect to just warm up. All right. So on the count of three: one, two, three. Sand.
Peace.
Sand and peace.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So something that puts sand and peace together.
Beach.
Beach. Beach. Yep. Same beach. So that was quick and easy.
Well, that
That was,
was fun.
yeah, that was a quick and easy one. So let's go into the topic, which is comparison. Many of us, especially as you achieve more, you see others with more, and you may not feel comfortable where you're at and not feel happy or joyful where you're at. You've helped thousands of physicians build seven figure businesses and reclaim their power. On that journey, many of them have struggled with imposter syndrome and comparison. What do you say to the doctor that looks at someone's highlight reel and starts to question, like, am I doing enough?
Yeah, that's a challenging thing that comes up a lot. And, as you know, this is something that it can feature a lot in the EntreMD Business School, for instance, because now you have a concentration of doctors who are doing really amazing things.
Mhm,
And if it's unchecked, if you're not intentional, you will find yourself defaulting to comparison, right? Because that's the default. And in the times we live in, that's the default, right? Because I think it was a lot easier before social media because you couldn't really see what people were doing anyway. But now social media is in front of everyone. You see what people are doing. But people don't, number one, they don't show the challenges and they don't show how long it takes to pull off whatever they pull off. And third, people lie.
mhm,
I
mhm,
I mean, I have talked to somebody, person gets on a call with me, they're crying. Like, "My business is not working. This is how much we made." And I'm like, "Okay, we can work through this. This is what we need to do." And then
mhm,
30 minutes later, they have a Facebook post out like, "Oh, I kicked the man out of the way and I'm building my own business and I'm thriving as an entrepreneur." And I'm like, "Hey, it's house sway. What just happened here?" Right?
mhm,
So people lie, right? Okay. So how I've come to a place where, I'm okay in the midst of people doing great things. I've been in rooms where people are doing 500 million in revenue and I'm happy
mhm,
for them. I'm not happy for myself. Okay. And so the way I've gotten there and the way I teach people to do that is number one is to realize that we're in community, but we each have personal journeys, individual journeys. Our journeys are different. It's not going to look the same at all. Your peak may look different from somebody else's peak. Your timeline, because sometimes that's what happened. I started my business the same time as this person. This person's here, I'm there. Our timelines may be different. My journey is my journey. And so I compare, but I don't compare myself with others. I compare myself with former me.
mhm, mhm,
Question is then, am I making progress? right? So if I went from $100,000 business to a $1 million business and somebody else is at 500 million, that's good for them. And I'm not mad at them. And then I'm not also jealous of them. Because I could be intimidated, I could be inspired. So I choose to be inspired by them. Like, wow, that must be amazing. What did you do? Da, da, da. Like, and stuff like that, with the humility to learn, but not from a place of comparison. So one is realizing this is my own journey. I'm on
Mhm.
my own journey. That's one. Two is really, embracing gratitude. Embracing gratitude. Like, this needs to be a habit because, I say this a lot. I say the undisciplined mind is an idiot. It
Mhm.
will always offer you that other people are doing better than you. They're going faster than you. They're doing things you're not doing. I choose to start every day off by looking at what was the magical thing that happened in my life yesterday. What is the progress I made yesterday? Now notice I didn't say 2 weeks ago, a month ago, like yesterday. What am I doing? Training myself to be this person who can appreciate the progress I'm making on a daily basis. Because when you're there, it's hard to compare in a way that your joy goes away, right? Because you're full of joy with what happened, right?
Mhm.
The gratitude practice is huge. And then the third is going against the grain and celebrating the people who are further ahead than me, further along than me. Because
Mhm.
if you genuinely celebrate, you can't celebrate and compare and be mad or be jealous or be whatever at the same time. And so I'm going like, wow, look at what you did. I congratulate them. Right? I open doors for them. I connect them with other people. If they have a product, a book, or whatever, I recommend it to other people. I do all of that. That's me bringing myself to this point where I'm the person who celebrates. Like, oh, wow, look at what happened. Right? Yeah. So
Mhm.
those are some of the things that I've done. And it's something I continue to do because it always will sneak up. The comparison will always sneak up. Yeah.
Yeah, and it can come in very sneaky and very slowly. I realize that comparison trap. It's very sneaky.
Yes.
Now, can you talk about redefining the win? So, in the world where social media kind of magnifies comparison, which we talked about, how can physicians move from "why not me" to "what's possible for me"? And how does that help fuel more sustainable growth and sustainable joy?
Yeah. So I see it as two things, right? So you've probably heard me talk about this concept of walking vision boards, like real life vision boards, right? We can go to the, to the store and get magazines and cut them up and all of those things, but there are people in our world who are vision boards, who are where we want to be, doing what we want to do and all of those things. And if you think about what you do with a vision board, you're not mad at it. It inspires you, right?
Mhm.
And so I choose to look at the people, and this is what I tell the people in the EntreMD Business School to do too, is to look at the people ahead of you and choose to be inspired by them, right? Choose to see them as vision boards because you can be intimidated or inspired. It's a choice. Is the same person, same situation, same business. You get to choose. Am I going to be intimidated, annoyed, going to compare and then get lose my peace and all of that stuff? Or am I going to go like, wow, I can't believe I get to be in the same room with these people. I get to see their businesses up close and personal. I get to hear the behind the scenes stories and I can ask them clarifying questions like, are you kidding me? Right? Because that can be the attitude, or how come they're far along? Why not me? And all of those things. Right. And so I choose the inspiration path. Right. And so for everyone who's further along, everyone who's doing something at one, I'm looking forward to doing all of that. I choose to be inspired. I choose to express extreme gratitude that I get to see it. Because think about it, when I started my private practice, which was my first business, I didn't have access to physician entrepreneurs. I didn't know anybody who was running $1 million business or $1 million businesses. I didn't know doctors who wrote books, who were authors, who are now, granted, this was pre the real Facebook, right? Like, so I didn't know any of these things. Now to be in containers where I get to see, like, I get to see someone say, I think I want to launch a course and I want to bring $1 million in. To hear somebody say that as a thought and then turn around and say, okay, I'm at 500,000. Like, I was there. I watched it play out. I saw them demonstrate what, like their limiting beliefs and all of those things, overcome them, go do it, how they market it, how, like, I get to see that. And
Mhm.
so when you see it from a place of, wow, I get to be behind the scenes and watch this stuff as opposed to the highlight reel. It's like, this is fantastic. So that's one piece. And the other piece is progress is the new perfection,
Mhm,
right?
mhm,
Better is the new best, right? And so it's really taking the time to celebrate. Like sometimes people will tell me things like, I have a small win. I'm like, I have no idea what that is. I don't know what that means. I don't know what is a small win. A win is a win is a win.
mhm,
And it's the small wins that lead to the big wins. And it's the consistent small wins that lead to the big wins. And like there's no such thing in my mind. A win is a win. And so for every milestone we make, the same way we do with our kids, we don't say, oh, when you graduate from Harvard, then I'll celebrate you. That's not what we do. We celebrate the first smile. We celebrate the first time they roll over. We celebrate the first time they sit without support. We celebrate when they stand with help and then stand without support and take their first step. Like we celebrate everything. And that's why we're constantly in love with our kids, right? You're just like, they're amazing. We're always thinking they're amazing, right?
mhm,
And so that's the same thing I choose to do with myself as an entrepreneur. And so that way I keep my joy and I think I'm always amazing. Because, oh my goodness, look at what I just did, right? So,
mhm.
and that puts me in a place where I truly enjoy my journey as an entrepreneur.
Wow.
Truly enjoyed. I wouldn't trade it for anything. Does it have challenges? Of course, everything has challenges, but I love my journey. And a huge part of it is I stay away from the comparitis, as I call it.
Did you have to make a change? Did you make a change, a compromise, or was it that you were at one point comparing yourself and one point down, and then you decided to make that change, or was
Yeah.
not
So,
comparing part of your nature?
no, 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 not part of my nature. I promise you, not part of my nature, not at all. And I hope nobody interprets anything I do as part of my nature. This is all evolution. It's
Mhm,
all evolution. So at this point, I've been an entrepreneur for 15 years. So I've had some time. But in the beginning, in the very beginning, I just assumed everybody, first of all, I was like, everybody is better than me. I don't know what I'm doing. They have these big practices. They have hired a lot of people. I couldn't even bring myself to hire a medical assistant. These guys have 15 doctors. They're there. Like, and I'm not that kind of person. That was
mhm,
my conclusion. So the first thing that happened was, I talk about this a lot. I read Brian Tracy's book, Eat That Frog. And
mhm,
in that book, he says all business skills are learnable. And I was like, hold on. So he says they're not better than you. They're just doing things you don't know, right? They're doing things you don't know how to do or you don't even know about. And if you learn those things and do them, then you get the same results. And I was like, hang on, you know, and so I stopped. So I no longer had a problem. There's nothing wrong with me. It was now so that there was something I didn't know. And so it put me in this position where I'm fine, I'm perfect, I'm great. There might just be something I don't know. And I'm a
mhm,
whole physician. And so if there's anything I learned how to do, I learned how to learn. So I can learn to do the thing and go do the thing so I can get the result. And so that was the very first shift because because I'm okay and
mhm,
I'm not static. I can acquire new skills and show up differently. I can evolve. I can be different every 90 days. And that's what I've committed to. Every 90 days, I'm going to be different version of me so I can produce different results. So that was the first transformation that happened. And so this was really early on. So maybe 14 years ago. So that was the first thing. And then the second thing was I started learning every time you find something that steals your joy, fix it.
mm,
It's one life. It is not worth it to be miserable in the one life you have. And so when I started finding, I see someone who's doing so much better than me and that makes me feel bad, I was like, you have to fix that because that's a marker of something that shouldn't be there, right? Like
mhm.
it shouldn't be there. And so I started thinking, I was like, okay, what is a way that I can interface with people who are doing so much better than me? And I'm excited for them and I'm not bent out of shape and all of those things. Like when those feelings start coming on, what can I do to fix it? And I thought about, I said, I can either see it as they're a problem and they're a mirror showing me that I suck and all of those things, or I could choose to be amazed at the life that I have, that I get to be exposed to people like this. because everybody doesn't have that opportunity. And there were years when I didn't have that opportunity. There were years where I had no clue what I could do as an entrepreneur because I had no exposure to entrepreneurs. And for me to be in a position where I can see these people doing all these things, it's a gift. I can choose to see it as a gift or I can make it a problem. It is not a problem, it's a gift,
Mhm.
right? And
Right.
so that brought me to this place where I started training myself. So the feelings will still show up, but I'm like, oh, we don't do that anymore. And then I flip the narrative and I'm like, my goodness, I get to see this. This is amazing. This is awesome. And I think the third was this was probably, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 years ago. I then realized, maybe a little long, no, 6 or 7 years ago, I realized that there's a shortcut to success. And the shortcut to success is being in the company of people who are doing what you want to do. Right. And so in the beginning, you're like, oh, they're better than me and I'm bent out of shape. But that means you have to be in rooms where you're better than everybody else. You can't grow in those rooms. You can't get better in those rooms because you're the big head honcho, like you're the one who knows everything. But if I put myself in rooms where I would be normally, naturally, slightly intimidated, then that means I put myself in a room where they can rub off of me and I can change. And so I started saying yes to putting myself in positions where I'd usually be intimidated, but now I'm there excitedly knowing that because I'm in that room, they're going to up level me. And so then now it's an advantage. So yeah, so that's what I do.
Yeah, but it was a big it wasn't overnight, and it was choices that you made,
Mhm.
throughout that, and you're able to distill them for us in ways that we should also give ourselves grace if it doesn't happen overnight, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
because I'm sure with some of your students, such as me, I was a former student in EVS, it you can feel intimidated by other people's success, and it can come up again, but
Yes.
choosing to see them as a vision board, as choosing to see that that's something as possibility for you to accomplish, and that there's nothing wrong with you, you just haven't learned it yet.
Yeah.
It Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely giving ourselves grace with that because it doesn't happen overnight, but it is something that we can all do as well as physicians and high achieving professionals.
Yeah.
Uh,
And I'd like to speak to that a little bit, because we do live in a microwave world,
mhm,
right? Like everything should happen in 2 minutes and all of those things. And if you think about it, we haven't been able to microwave our way to 5 minute, fine dining meals. We haven't been able to do it because there isn't a path, right? There isn't a path. So that takes longer. So there's some microwave stuff, but for the most part, we don't want that. We want fine dining. It takes time. And so, for everything that you're going to build as an entrepreneur or for any venture that is worthwhile, one of the things you want to do is to recognize that it will take time and you start playing the long game. As long as the game is the microwave game, you can't win at a high level. Think about anybody who's made it to the Olympics, who became an NBA champion, who did all of these things, Nobel Peace Prize, all of those things. None of those things take a year. None of those things take 6 months. None of those things take 5 years. They take time. Sometimes I'll meet people and they're like, oh, yeah, I've learned what I need as an entrepreneur. I'm like, please tell me the secret because I've been an entrepreneur for a decade and a half and I haven't figured it out yet. Because there's more stuff, there's more evolution, there's more transformation. It takes time. It takes time. If you want to be a person who does great things, and by great things, I mean you do what you're here to do. That's what that means. If you want to do great things, then having a long-term perspective is a requirement because it takes time.
mhm. With that being said, comparison can also creep as an entrepreneur, you're an entrepreneur in every area of your life, but comparison can creep into other areas of your life. You feel like, "Oh, I'm not as great a mom as I can be. I'm not a great a business I can be. I'm not a great friend as I could be." So, it can affect all of those areas outside of just business. So it's something to keep an eye on and to use some of those tips that Dr. Una just mentioned with us in all those areas because you are still learning. You maybe you're a new mom and it's a process, you know, or your other parts of your life, you need some advice or guidance to see the other people that are doing well as vision boards.
Yeah. And you brought up moms, so, let's lean into that for half a second because I don't know about you, but that got me good. I had terrible mom guilt, right?
Mm,
Because I'm not like the other moms. Maybe I'm breaking my kids. I don't spend as much time with them. Here I am trying to be an entrepreneur. Have I ruined their future? Because instead of spending time with them, I'm doing all this business stuff. Ugh, all of that. And it was tough. And it's so unnecessary. So unnecessary.
mhm,
And I will tell you the conclusion that I came to. And that's what I use for every area of my life where I have peace. And that conclusion is that I'm good enough and I'm committed to being better. I'm good enough today. Like whatever I got today, this is good. That's the executive decision that I made. This is good.
mhm,
And then I'm committed to being better every day. Do I have control over being better every day? Yes. I have control over that, right? And so that was the conclusion. And so even when I think, oh, you're not doing this as a mom, you're not doing that as a mom, the question is, what am I doing as a mom? Because everybody's doing something and everybody's doing something great and your kids are still here. You know what I'm saying? Like, what am I
mhm.
doing? I celebrate what I am doing and I'm like, today's another day. I'm going to get better. That's it. And so nobody can tell me I'm a bad mom because I'm done. I'm a really good mom. I'm a really good entrepreneur. I'm a really good friend. I'm a really good coach. I'm a really good author. I'm a really good podcaster. I'm a really good everything I am. And I'm going to keep getting better. That's it. That's it. So I just made an executive decision. I'm good enough.
Mhm.
I'm good
Yeah.
enough because guess what? Every great person was raised by an imperfect mom. Everybody. So I'm in good company. So that's my thing. I hope it helps somebody, but that's
It
that's
does.
that's
I
what I
think
did.
that will help a lot of the moms in the audience, because there is that mom guilt. I have a 5-month-old, and it can creep in when you go to mommy and me classes and you see some of the
Mhm.
other moms. But I'm not letting it because I know I'm good enough and I'm doing well. I'm
Yes.
doing better every day.
Yes.
So this was a great, great conversation on comparison, which affects many of us, and it's such an important topic, especially in the day and age with social media. So let me just say for everyone that comparison may be loud, but your calling as a professional, as an entrepreneur, is louder. And today, Dr. Una reminded us that joy isn't found in someone else's lane. It is in our own lane and in our own journey. So the next time comparison creeps itself in, ask yourself, what's possible for me? Can this be a vision board for me? And let's imagine a world where we all stopped measuring and started moving in our own direction, boldly, joyfully, and authentically. And that starts with you making that decision to stop comparison. So this conversation, if it lit a spark for you, if this touched something for you, share this episode and tag the Embracing Joy podcast, subscribe, and also you can follow Dr. Una on Facebook. Dr. Una, she also has her podcast, EntreMD Podcast. You can see her everywhere. She has multiple books. Is there anywhere else that they should find you, Dr. Una?
Yeah, the Facebook and the podcast, that's great.
Facebook and the
That's great.
podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dr. Una on Facebook, and the podcast is Entre MD. So thank you, everyone. And make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Bye.